Welcome to Pine Notes. This is Lisa, and today I am reviewing the embroidery book, What Delilah Did, Secret Garden Embroidery, 15 projects for your stitching pleasure. And I must admit, my father picked this book up for himself thinking that it would be all cross-stitch because that was represented on the cover. He didn't know that it would be more embroidery work like I do on my handkerchiefs, but lucky me, I got the book, and instead of returning it for him, I absolutely fell in love with it. I happen to love Secret Gardens. One of the reasons I moved back here onto the patio to crochet and do crafts was because it does look over my little garden. And so I want to just take you through a couple things. What instantly hooked me though is I make handkerchiefs, so I do all the crochet work, and I did do a video on Victorian handkerchiefs, and I went over all the yarns and where I get that, so I will link that below. But I did take pictures this morning of the embroidery floss I was using and made note of the numbers. Like I know the pink is 111 in your DMC thread count, so I did do that for you, and I will list still pictures at the very end like I usually do as I made this. It's just easier for me when I'm working to take still pictures instead of filming it constantly and starting and stopping. And this you will recognize. This is the Lily of the Valley, and this was also a month ago. I had just finished the crochet edge here in the cotton floss, and I was looking for a monogram, and yes, this one is for me. My birth month happens to be Lily of the Valley for May, and I am beginning to do the leaves here, and I will list that as well. But here is what the leaves are going to be done. I just simply go over the embossed here, but this was completely, the L was completely hand stitched thanks to this little book here. And let me tell you, this is the best craft book in 50 years I have probably read. It starts with a little story about Miranda and Delilah, and it goes through a little journey in their secret garden and what they decide to do. I marked a few little places here. I am not going to show you the actual pattern as it is copyright by our wonderful author, and I will link her website. She also has a website here, and her name really is Delilah, so I thought that was pretty neat too. Here is a little banner with the monogram on it, and inside this book they have every letter of the alphabet, and this is what a variation of what the L would look like should you do it real size. This is obviously way bigger than what I need for a tiny handkerchief, and I just thought it was thrilling. They give the color combinations. On hand I didn't happen to have olive, but I matched up pretty close to what would match with what I'm doing here, and again I will list those. But an example of some works is she gives you a little purse to make, and in this little packet there are charts, patterns if you will, and they're not the tissue thin butterick patterns. These are solid thick paper in color patterns, and you get the clutch bag, the cushion, the hair picture, and the rose belt, which I will show you. But here's the little clutch. You get an actual pattern for that with the purchase of the book. And I do know this book is available on Amazon. Here is the rose belt I was talking about. But as Miranda and Delilah go through this book, they go on a little journey through their garden, and for this particular project they're making rose jam. Now if you watched my month of June flower is the rose. I grow roses, so this was real special. And no, I don't necessarily need a belt, but I can definitely do this cross stitch on a blank handkerchief. Now, that's where this book becomes very, very valuable to me. I got a kick out of this. This is the Vegetable Garden Pillow. And the simple stitches do look like little rows of vegetables. So I really like that a lot. There's the clutch again. Now this took my breath away. This is a lilac. And they have a little story of the lilac. And as I mentioned, I'm in my patio room and the birds are out. That's our lovely blue jay. But just the detail, and it's simple. They've got projects in here for beginner to advanced, so anybody can do these. And here's what the lilac looks in the little satchel. Again, I may not need a little eyeglass holder, but I can translate that into something I would use in a handkerchief. And let me just read a little Lilac Blossom Love Potion. I'm going to read a little excerpt if Mr. Blue Jay happens to not mind. Midsummer saw the blossoming of Miranda's spectacular lilac. Hidden away in a shady corner of the garden, it bloomed uncommonly late and produced a scent so powerful that it brought tears to your eyes if you stood too close. So just little excerpts of that in a craft book just make this so special. I am so delighted to receive this, although I'm sad for my father. He will eventually get a product from this book in the way of a handkerchief or a framed piece of art. But this was the #1 reason I thought my dad picked it up. This little honeybee here, and you can see I have my thread all ready to go for the next project I'm going to work on today. My brother, my youngest one, who has my grandmother's farm out in Avon, 2 years ago decided to add honeybees. And this past Christmas, I think, was the first time I got a little jar of honey. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be neat if he collected enough honey and put this little bee on the top of the jar? And it could be like a little magnet that the people could use later. But I just thought this was really neat. Honeybees are so special. And I remember, this is reminiscing again about the garden. Before I was afraid of bees, there was this wonderful cherry tree in the back, and I used to climb it, and it had a branch that went straight out, and on that branch I used to stand and let the bees land on me and not move a muscle. It was just very, very peaceful, very intoxicating, and it's just a part of my summer childhood that I so fondly recall. And of course, it's later on in life that you become scared of things. You become scared of bees. So I will always treasure that memory of the little honeybees out there, and I think that's why this is so special, and it's going to be my second one I work on here. But absolutely, if you get a chance, check this out. Like I said, I believe Amazon.com carries this. And I also thought for handkerchief work, you know, why not add a little insect to one of my Victorian floral handkerchiefs? I thought, well, isn't that cute? It would match a little ladybug like right here on a handkerchief embroidered on there. So, you know, she gives you several ideas for crafty projects, but expand it and make it to fit your needs. And I really hope you enjoy this book. She gives step-by-step instructions for the beginner all the way through advanced, and she has 2 more books in this series, and I'll try and list them below, but one of them is for Christmas, and I'm really eyeing that up because you know it is July and you really should get started on your Christmas crafts. But I am having so much fun. I thought it was just the perfect timing with midsummer being this week, and I hope all of you are having a wonderful week. And as always, make it a great day, and let's embroider and crochet. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing to my videos. This is Lisa from Pine Notes. Take care.